first morning, first day back in Coues country. We just rolled in yesterday, and it's a new area. We're just kind of getting the lay of the land today. For the next couple days, we'll bounce around, find out where our glass and knobs should be, figure out where we're seeing some tracks. This morning was pretty slow. Saw a couple deer, a couple bucks, 3 bucks, a javelina. But it's a big area. Brad and Hunter are off checking another spot. We'll spend these first couple days just learning it, figuring out the best areas to glass from. We got javelina tags and Coues tags, so it should be a fun hunt. We got 10 days. So I've yet to hunt. None of us have ever hunted Coues deer with rifles, but we're doing that this year. We've all killed bucks with our bows, but we're going for next level bucks this year. So we got the boomsticks, and we'll see what we can turn up. We're hoping for some of those real old, mature bucks that just die on the mountain that we can never get close to with our bows. And this country looks like it's going to hold a few giants, so we'll see. But it's going to be a fun time. Rifles, Coues tags, javelina tags. It's a pretty cool country.
All right, like Ryan said, it's day one. We have laid eyes on a couple of bucks this morning. I have seen a couple of bucks. Ryan has seen some dinkers, but I saw some respectable deer. So I think I'm on the board. I think it's 2-0 so far, because those little bucks that Ryan saw might as well be does. But yeah, we actually came around this mountain after we saw those bucks this morning duck into a canyon, and we might make our way over to this peak and see if we can pick them up in that deep canyon over there where I last saw them go. We might get lucky. We might find them in there. So that's the game plan. We'll keep you posted. We'll see if we can pick these deer up again. See if we can get behind and above this group of bucks that I saw this morning.
This looks good. Looks real good. Thick though. I saw those deer this morning. Probably 300 or 400 yards. So, where Brian saw those bucks this morning, we're overlooking it right now. We just got on this little perch. Sit here for a while, but it's got nice little rolling north slope hills where they could be bedded right now, and a big wide open grassy knob, so it's about perfect. Probably post up here and see what happens. Can almost assure those deer are going to come out in this open this evening. Unless Brian's eyes were deceiving him and we're in the wrong spot. Impossible. I don't know. These little dark holes down in here look pretty good. We could have 100 goose deer come out of there tonight. Pretty much overlooking the area where I saw those deer come up and over this little bowl. But they were in this bowl earlier and walking that ridge, so if they come on this face, man, we got a great little spot. We'll see. Just sitting here, kind of looking at this basin, and where I saw that buck earlier, I spotted one just stood up in the trees over here, and we're watching him right now. He's a nice looking buck. They sure are skittish and jumpy. I mean, he's a big deer. I don't know, how heavy he is. They're so hard to judge, but he's pretty. He's cool deer. He's mature, that's for sure. He's staying hidden behind these bushes. That's a really good sign, because I saw that rut in action right here. Sure enough, we decided to come through the back of the basin to see if we could get better eyes on that spot, and there he is. Or at least a buck. They're all skittish over there, so I saw some rutting and chasing and raking, and it's funny, where he's at though, that's not where I saw where I saw the buck go. There's more coming down.
He's got eye guards. He has a big main beam.
Yeah, those two like sweep around.
There's a good look at him right there. That's a good look at him. Does look like he has a little junk. 1, 2, 3.
How big do you want him to be?
Like the one I didn't get last year. The eye guards on that other one make him. This buck has some cool main beams, dude.
Really cool.
Oh, he looks heavy. I just got a good look at him. So he's a 3x3 with eye guards. And wide. He's not thin horned. Pretty sure that's the buck I saw. When I was looking at him, I was like, dude, his main beams are just wide and huge, and I thought he was a forked horn. Big giant fork. And then I was like, no, he's got another third on each side. He's bladed. He's bladed.
On the front?
Yeah. Those front beams are bladed. He's a beautiful deer. We can throw him on the computer and zoom in and like really look.
Mm-hmm.
Like the buck last year, I really couldn't tell until I got home, until I got on a computer. Man, he looks pretty right here in the sun.
You're an idiot for not going on shooting him.
He's probably the biggest buck we see the whole trip. It's day one, dude.
There's another brow time situation.
Well, I certainly am not relying on your judgment. This is my own folly.
I'm saying go shoot him.
I have no idea how big he really is. You know what I mean?
I bet you he's like a 110 buck.
Could be. He probably is. I'm looking at that third tine. It's not that short.
No, his tines are longer than the buck I killed.
got a frame like the one you killed. Just a bit taller tines, probably. Man, right there, they always look big from behind.
Right now is when you make your decision.
You're a horrible partner.
Just for the record, I'm saying should go shoot this buck. So you don't change your answer later.
Look, he's pretty. Still on the ridge?
He's just giving you all the looks right now.
Ryan's trying to get me to shoot this buck, but it's the first hours of the first day. Can't do it. It's going to be another brow tine, another wide buck situation. I can't count how many bucks I pass on the first day, only to have it be the biggest buck we see on the trip. It's a pretty deer.
Yeah. It's got big old beams. Main beams are nice.
What he doesn't have is trash and mass and tree stumps and stickers and stuff. I mean,
It doesn't have that.
I'll shoot a smaller buck with more mass any day of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to see a buck or two that's got that trashiness to it. This one's a sweet, like, clean 3. And it's like he almost wants to sprout off his main beams up front. Those big swoopers. Plus he's got eye guards.
The reality is, we'll get back to camp. We're going to throw the footage onto my laptop and get a good look at this thing's blown up and close up. And when that happens, we're all going to say, why didn't you shoot that deer? Why didn't you shoot that deer? Right?
Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen.
Probably. But you know what, folks? I'm okay with that. I really am.
Okay.
I think we can find him again, though. That's the thing.
I think if we walk away from this basin, this is his spot. This is a beautiful little spot. It's just perfect. I don't think he's going to disappear on us.
I watched him raking and hitting these trees and leaving scrapes, so he's a boss.
Yeah.
He's got that. It's hard to tell, man. Coues deer are so hard to tell, especially when you're talking about collectively an 8-inch difference between what you want to shoot and don't want to shoot.
Yeah.
That's not very much.
One thing I know is he's a mature deer. He could be maxed out right now. I don't know. He's pretty. But I know what you're looking for. You're looking for that old grandpa that's all tree stumped.
Even that Coues I had at 40 yards twice. It was actually like 38 once. With the old bow last year. The eye guards, they're just special. They're just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm kind of looking for something a little freaky. This reminds me of like your typical Kansas whitetail, and we all know how we feel about typical whitetails.
Looks like a ag rat coming right out of the alfalfa field.
Nice, heavy, typical 170 Kansas buck is what he looks like.
Yeah.
Only on a Coues deer body and frame. See, the problem is we need him to be freakish, Coues freakish.
Some of these Coues do get just thick and lumpy and bladed, and this guy's got a little bit of blade, it looks like, to him up front.
Yeah, I could see some lumps.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's cool though.
Let him live, I guess.
It's cool seeing bucks.
Well, ideally, how we picture this hunt going is we're going to pass on lots of bucks for about 5-6 days. It's some really probably special bucks, but then the last couple days of the trip, we're going to find those big Megasaurus bucks that come out of the woodwork and take those bucks, if it all works out like it's supposed to.
What exactly does a Megasaurus look like?
A Megasaurus Coues deer is going to be your 130, 140 inch giant It's just like, yeah, no idea how he got here, but just lumpy and bladed and thick and heavy. Oh. So, yeah, we're gonna kill 4 of those. That's the plan.
That's right, we're gonna kill 4 of them. 130 40-inch bucks. We could check up on that one again. We saw some deer over here too. All right.
We'll leave this deer in our back pocket here in case we need to come back for him.
That was a really nice buck back there. Tempted to take him, but it's only day 1 and we got time. Not exactly sure if that was a mistake or not, but you have to weigh the balance between having a tag in your pocket and taking a shot and having the hunt be over, or keeping that tag unpunched and see what tomorrow brings. We still got 7, 8, 9 days, depending how long we want to stay, and that's a lot of days. And punching a tag on the very first day with that many days left, it's too fun. Gotta keep the hunt alive longer. Gotta see what's here.
We're looking into the sun, but this bowl looks pretty good. Bunch of tall grass. Well, we're coming to the end of day 1, and saw some deer today. Not a ton of deer. It's either low numbers or just kind of a slow day. Not sure. Weather's fairly cool. Saw some bucks this morning. Got a buck picked out this evening. We think he's feels like he's 20 miles away, but he's gettable tomorrow if we go that way. So we're gonna probably head that way in the morning. But so the best buck we saw today, we found this nice little flat. We got over there. We'll probably end up going back to this spot. He's a good looking buck. He's got eye guards, 3-point, but he looks like he kind of blades out up front, and nice heavy main beams on him. He looks cool. Looks like a good mature buck. But we watched him. He kind of dove into this drainage where some does had just gone into. But we're gonna go scour the rest of this country first before we go back. We know he's there. He's probably gonna be there, and it's a perfect spot to go back and get a shot on him, because it's a fairly small spot, nice south slope, tall grass, all the things. But cool buck, but not a buck that we wanted to shoot on day 1. We're just gonna keep looking and see what the potential is out here.
in our graves in an unpromised land.
All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. I know it's a shocker. I didn't shoot the deer on the first day.
Pretty notorious for that.
It's kind of my thing to pass on deer on the first day, no matter how spectacular they may or may not be.
Yeah.
In my defense, Coues deer are difficult to judge, extremely difficult. And there are some things about the anatomy of a Coues deer that I think we can share with you, kind of the things that we're learning about them and bring you along. I'd like to dive into that. Before we do, I have two things I want to talk about. One is I want to gloat a little bit about the fact that I spotted this deer and most of the deer that day before Lampers did. Let's just make sure everybody is aware that Brian Call saw this buck. And a lot of the other ones. I mean, Ryan saw a couple 2 points or something like that. I don't remember if he saw that
does,
much.
Maybe.
Some does. But no, we play the who spots it gets to shoot it game.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, I spotted this deer. I did get on it. As you can see from the film, we put our eyes on it. We got in close, pretty close, to put some good eyes on it. And we immediately knew it was a nice deer. Mm-hmm. We didn't know how nice it may or may not have been. And I guess that's the challenge with Coues deer, especially.
Absolutely.
Even when they're giant, they're difficult to judge.
And we are not looking at them every day. Like, I feel like we have a pretty good grasp on mule deer.
Even if you do look at them all the time.
It's true. It's true.
The difference between a giant and just an average mature buck is not very much.
Right. 5, maybe 10 inches.
15, like not a lot. It's not like other animals. So I want to get into that, but let's not forget, I spotted it first. I get to decide whether to shoot it, and it's on the first darn day.
Yeah.
And when it's the first day, I just don't know, like, it's hard for me to shoot on that day because we have a whole 10 days ahead of us.
There could be that unicorn.
There could be who knows what. I don't know. And maybe we just hit a honey hole and there's 5 monsters in this place.
Right.
And on the first day, what I think is a monster turns out to be small, comparatively speaking, to what else is there.
The area, whatever.
Anyway, it's a tough thing to judge. Mm-hmm. So that's number one. And the second thing to cover before we get into further details of the hunt is this. Would you like an initial ascent backpack, a pair of trekking poles, geek skaters, headlamp, crispy boots, and some sheep feed orthotics? We're calling this the ultimate backcountry hunting
hiking package.
Yeah, I need Brad here. It's the ultimate backcountry hiking package.
We can't guarantee you're going to kill something, but you can hike around with it.
So you're going to get your orthotics from Sheep Feet. You're going to get a brand new pair of crispy boots. You're going to get the trekking poles. That gets you hiking.
Yep.
A headlamp when it gets dark. And a sweet new initial ascent backpack, which is one of my favorites. And anyway, to be entered to win, all you have to do is shop at the Gritty store. Yep. So what's cool about that, too, is you're going to be funding my sister, Katie, and my brother-in-law, Bryce, their small business. I don't take any money from the T-shirt and hat sales, any of that merch. It just goes straight to them. It helps out my family. I'm glad we were able to do this. So if you go over there and you shop, you'll be entered to win that hiking package. Yep. And all you got to do is buy a shirt or a hat.
Every $10 you spend will give you 1 entry.
Yes. And then also, we're supporting Stealthy right now.
Yeah.
Lampers put together a cool package. So when you shop over at Stealthy, you get your sleep gummies, your CBD gummies, your E-Charge, electrolytes. What else? Gut health,
bone
immune
broth,
probiotics,
protein.
One
of my favorites.
A glassing pad, rifle cover, all those things. Shop over there, and Lampers put together something. What is it, Brad?
Yeah. So he's got a PSE bow. He's got a Western Hunting Summit pass to the archery elk camp. In June. He's got
I'll be there.
dozen of Day 6 arrows with a package of broadheads as well. You also have a $500 gift card to the Go Hunt Gear Shop and a lifetime membership to the Insider.
Sweet.
So, sweet little package.
There you go, folks. Just go shop at Stealthy. First, go to Gritty, then go to Stealthy.
Yep. And make sure at Stealthy you use the code Gritty.
Yeah, use the code Gritty at Stealthy. The store is called Gritty Store. It's ghetto. It's in the works. It's better to have a store than no store at all.
Yes.
So, and last time my sister ran out of product right away. Her and Bryce under-ordered. So this time we got the hoodies, we got the shirts in stock, we got the hats. And the hats, we got feedback on all of it. And there's some newer stuff, newer designs, newer color schemes. I really like what's over there. So, yeah, just buy a hat or a shirt or whatever. They also have water bottles. Which I really like with the Human Gear cap for backpacking, lightweight kind of stuff. That's a cool water bottle. There's some other things over there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but
no, we're adding some new things here and there all the time.
And we're going to get that store so it doesn't look so ghetto up and running down the road. We're just not there yet. So too busy making movies. So hope you're enjoying the show. So let's get into the show itself and talk a little bit about some things that maybe about Coues deer that you aren't familiar with. Okay. So when you're looking at a Coues deer, one of the things that's pretty fascinating, and if you're not aware of it, is their ears are big.
Yeah.
They're very big. And in proportion to their body. So a Coues deer's ears, when they're in alert position, are about 14 inches wide.
Yeah.
And when they're just straight out, they're about 16 inches wide.
Yeah.
Probably. So, Brad, when someone is looking at a deer and they want to know if it's a really old, mature, special unicorn kind of age class deer, it's been around the block, he's a special critter, about how wide does the inside spread of the antlers need to be to be in the ballpark?
If you're looking at a 14-inch inside spread deer where, is matching basically the alert position on the ears, you're like, that could be a mature buck.
Yeah.
And then you have other factors that play into that to then start
So
calculating.
when the ears are kind of forward and he's alert and looking forward, I mean, if those antlers are right to the tip or just beyond, you're looking at, you're in the ballpark. You're looking at a pretty big buck at that point in terms of, that's like step one.
That's like your step one on the width, mature buck, figuring out the width.
And so knowing the ears are so big helps because when you're looking at a Coues deer buck that's big, that's got a 15-inch outside spread or something like that, you still have the ears when they're just pointing straight out in a relaxed position. They're the rack is well inside the ears. Yeah. And it throws you off. It makes you it looks a little goofy because the ears are so big compared to the rack. And so you're looking at it and you're like, it looks kind of funny because it's very rare when you look at a blacktail, when you look at a mule deer, when you look at a mature whitetail, usually the antlers can pop right outside those ears once they're kind of mature. But even for a Coues deer on a very, very mature, majestic, racked, huge buck, it's not going to be uncommon for the ears in a relaxed position for the antlers to still be well within an inch on each side, even. Very possible. So that kind of throws you off because pretty much when we're on other deer species or other, like your eastern whitetail, your mule deer, and so on, it's usually like those antlers are outside.
Yeah, you're kind of like, you start with your base, let's say on a mule deer, 22, 24 inches, and then you're like, okay, when he gets outside of them, 1, 2, 3
swoop
inches.
Out beyond.
You're like, oh, I'm looking at a 27-inch wide deer. It's not that case with the Coues.
No.
It makes it very hard to field judge a Coues deer.
Yeah, and so the ears, let's talk about those a little bit. Why are they so big, Brad?
I don't know. Through evolution, their tail and their ears seem to...
The theory is this. With Coues deer, there's a scientific reason for why the ears are so big. Yeah. And generally it is the same. They can say the same thing with, for example, mule deer.
Mule deer, right.
Those desert deer rely, like a donkey.
Like a donkey. They rely on the cooling.
The blood pumps through the body, but when it goes into the ear has all those blood vessels in it, and the ears move around. They're in the wind, and it cools the blood and brings it back. So it's a way for them to
those ears are
cool
really
their body.
thin, too. So that cool air,
And so it's a cooling mechanism. Those big ears cool blood and then pump it back in. And so those desert animals need those big ears. What's ironic is a Coues deer ear is about 6 inches from tip to base. And that's almost the same as like an eastern mature whitetail.
Yeah.
About the same. But an eastern whitetail can be 300 pounds and a big giant Coues can be 100
pounds, right, for a mature
So you're
buck.
just talking about a giant ear for the animal size. And the tails look like a dog tail or something.
They're
like
gigantic.
They're so big. And I don't know the evolutionary reason for why the tail is so giant on their little body compared to like a normal whitetail.
Here's my theory. Because they're so small, they need some type of flagging mechanism to like really alert those because they're so susceptible to predators. I don't know.
Maybe
giant.
They just need a bigger signal. But whatever reason, they got big tails and big ears, and it throws you off a little bit.
A tiny body.
And a tiny body. Yeah. So anyway, that kind of helps you, I guess, get a little. We'll talk a little bit more about field judging as the shows progress. Mm-hmm. But let's also talk a little bit about passing deer. You know, when I saw this deer, I knew he was gorgeous. I thought I might want to take him. And I'm excited about all the other deer we might see on the rest of this trip. And as I looked at this buck, though, I was thinking to myself, we can find him again.
Yeah.
And this is certainly true with Coues deer, but also I think whitetail in general. Given that they're not spooked or pushed out by a predator or another hunter or something like that, you know, these deer will pretty much stick on these routes.
Yeah.
And something that you don't know, you know, I mean, I don't know if it's in the video or not, but earlier I watched this buck come along, lick some branches, and then do a scrape on the ground and do some rubs too on some trees. And he was like hitting these spots to do rubs as he went down this line. He did them here, did them here, did them here, hit a scrape, and went down. And spoiler alert, later we see him do this again because we do find this deer a second time, third time, and so on. So we are able to relocate pretty much every buck we found on this trip. We were able to relocate him. And that's one of the things I was going to say, especially on a hunt in this kind of situation.
Yeah.
A lot of people feel like I got to shoot it now because I may never see this deer again.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'm so confident nowadays, having hunted with Ryan. He kind of changed my whole worldview on this, that it's actually, I've seen him relocate mule deer, unless you're in a migratory zone.
Yeah.
You know, in a deer migration like mule deer in the mountains, unless it's that sort of situation, you can, if it's a localized deer, you can, if you're good, you can find it over and over again.
One, talking to certain biologists in areas that are really acquainted with Coues deer, a little bit of research. You know, what you initially hear is you're never going to see that buck again. Mm-hmm. But doing some research and stuff, and it's like, no, a Coues deer has such a small home territory range that it's like they have to be susceptible to refinding again.
Yeah,
they have to be,
and they're so territorial as well.
Yeah,
that once you see a mature buck in a spot, he probably owns that spot. Mm-hmm. There probably isn't another buck in that area that's really challenging him because they're so territorial. So the mature bucks, they're the king in that spot, especially if he's got a rub line and he's scraping and all of that. You can probably find the deer again. Yeah. So anyway, I think, you know, that kind of covers what we wanted to cover on this first episode. Mm-hmm. Tune in next Sunday for part 2. I think we have 6 parts, maybe.
Yeah, pretty close.
It's a pretty fun hunt, and then we actually have a lot more than that. But we're going to have to move on to bear footage and some bear hunts that we're going to show just as we get into the bear season coming up here in early April.
Yes.
We're going to drop some bear episodes that are pretty exciting. I think you're going to enjoy those. So we just appreciate that you're tuning into our show. Mm-hmm. We appreciate all the support that you give us, liking and subscribing to our channel and leaving us comments. And this week, if you leave a comment in the YouTube comment section below, we're going to pick a winner next week to win a pair of Peaks trekking poles. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, if you want to win the backcountry hiking package, the crispy boots, the sheep feet orthotics, the trekking poles, the gaiters, and the
headlamp, initial scent backpack.
If you want to win all that, you just got to shop over at the Gritty Store. And there's links below in the description field, or you can type in the Gritty Store. You go to briancall.com and click on the Gritty Store link there. And just buy something, and you'll be entered to win. The giveaway ends March 12th at midnight.
Yep.
March 12th at midnight. So you got a little bit of time, couple of weeks.
Yep.
And then we're ending that prize package giveaway.
Yeah, we will announce it on March 14th. The same goes for the Stealthy package.
And the Stealthy package is the same. So if you want to get in on that Stealthy deal, just head on over there. Use the code GRITTY.
Yep.
Shop a little bit, and you're entered to win.
Yeah, every $10, both packages.
And it helps Ryan, helps Hillary, helps Brian, helps Brad, helps Katie, and helps Bryce. All that's great. We appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, stay gritty.